Alright, my fallen angels, welcome back. This is another one of those reaction videos. I can tell that you guys like the transition because I'm getting some views on my reaction videos. Um, I don't know, I'm trying to test it out. If you guys want me to talk and put my input in on it, or if you want me to just shut the fuck up and just react as little as possible where it's still enough where it's a reaction channel so I don't get copyright. Put your comments below though, help me out, help me to get better. I'm open to all of it, and send me videos, man. Send me videos you want me to react to because I'm into a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? And hit subscribe if you are watching it, even if you're watching it for the first time. It'll make it a lot easier for you. You'll see me pop up on your For You page. And hit the like, stop hitting it down, the unlikes. But hey, that's still engagement, so that still helps me. So let me shut the fuck up and start doing what I'm supposed to. Play the video.
This Christian movement believed that the Christian God was evil. I am, of course, speaking about Gnosticism. Now, Gnosticism refers to a range of different ideas that emerged around the first few centuries of Christianity. Much of what we knew about Gnosticism was actually lost. Our knowledge of it mostly came from those that criticized it.
Sorry to cut you guys off, but Morg is a guy who is amazing when it comes to religion. I'm going to do another video with a lot of stuff with him. So that's going to be probably my next video. Sorry for the interruption.
Well, at least until 1945, as that is when Gnostic texts were discovered in Egypt. Now, the creation story in these texts is what's interesting. Now, I'm basically going to be presenting a very brief summary of a summary by the scholar known as David Brackey. So Gnostics believed that reality was originally just a single supreme God, so complex that our human minds wouldn't be able to comprehend it. But over time, this God started to produce other deities known as eons. It produced quite a few, and they were basically in pairs, having a male and female counterpart. Now, they all existed within this great spiritual realm. But here's where things got a little messy. One of these eons was referred to as Wisdom or Sophia, and she decided to reproduce without a male counterpart. So she reproduced asexually. And while it worked, her offspring was this deformed, twisted creature known as the demiurge. It was deformed, twisted, and evil, right? So what did the other eons do? They cast it out. It's put in isolation away from the spiritual realm. In its isolation, it decided to create its own realm, right? So it started to create its own eons and later our reality. But it convinced its creations that it was the supreme God. There was nothing beyond him, forcing its creations to worship it. But because it's so imperfect, its creations are imperfect, which is why our world is full of suffering and pain, according to the Gnostics. And according to the Gnostics, the demiurge is the God of the Old Testament. So the goal of the Gnostics, at least those that believed in this creation myth, was to realize the reality of our existence. Of course, Christians didn't really like this whole conspiracy theory about them, so that's why Gnostic texts are so rare. They were burnt, destroyed throughout history. Now, this is a very brief summary. There's a lot more to it, but perhaps I'll make more videos about it soon.
The following video comes from a man named Robbie. One night, while Robbie was alone at home, he started hearing knocking coming from the front door. And as he goes to open it, this happens.
Hello? Whoa.
When he opened the door, there was nobody there, but a strange sound seems to follow into his house at that moment. A few days later, he would hear strange noises that seemed to be coming from his basement. But as he checked multiple times, he never found anything there. The activity seems to be getting worse, so much so that his wife temporarily had to leave and stay at a relative's house. So he decided to set up motion detection cameras in the basement to see what they capture. Late one night, the camera captures this.
About ready to go to bed, and this keeps going off. That's the motion detector in the crawl space. I am scared to death to watch the footage from the camera down there. But we gotta do it.
Fuck that.
A dark figure suddenly peeks its head through a gap in the pillars, and then strangely the camera knocks over by itself at the same time. The very next day, after reviewing the camera footage, he goes down into the basement to check for himself what's lurking down there when something chilling happens.
I've been putting this off all day, but it's about to get dark soon, so we need to go down there. This is the last thing that I want to do, but I don't really have a choice.
Me too.
Okay, right over there is where I saw the thing. What was that?
What the fuck, man?
The dark figure quickly scurries across the basement, scaring Robbie out of there. Then it tries to open the hatch, and shortly after, aggressive knocking is heard at the door, but he finds nobody there. Real ghost or not, I'll let you.
Did you know your piss isn't made?
Now, I've seen a lot of ghost hunting videos. I used to always watch all of them. Me and my fiance, we still do, you know, but then the debunkers that I like to watch, like Side Eye Guy and Beardo Gets Scared, you know, they show how it can be fabricated, you know, but kind of turned me off a little bit from it because I could see how it could easily have been done. But that one, that got me a little scared. I kind of believe that one. I kind of believe that one. So I don't know. You guys put your comment below if you believe it or if you don't. You know, if you can see how it can be done fakely, you know, like just for the clicks.
From the water you drink? It's made from your goddamn blood? Save this video before you forget. Here's the ride your water takes inside you. You take a gulp, it shoots down your throat into your stomach, then slides into your intestines. That's where most of it gets sucked through the walls straight into your bloodstream, like your guts slurping it up through a straw. Your blood's basically two parts: plasma, the watery stuff, mostly H2O, and all the other crap floating in it, cells, nutrients, and whatever else you've been pumping through your veins. When that blood rolls into your kidneys, they work like high-tech motherfucking coffee filters. They decide what's worth keeping, like nutrients and some water, and what's just trash to flush. Everything your kidneys put on the fuck-off list gets shipped to your bladder as piss. So yeah, every time you've taken a leak in your life, that golden stream was just recycled blood a few hours ago. Your kidneys don't turn leftover food into pee, they squeeze it straight out of your blood, keeping your fluids, salts, and waste in check. That's why a urine test can spill the tea on your health. It's literally a status update from inside your body.
There you go.
Well, guys, take a look at this thing here. It looks like some sort of creepy, weird elemental sylph or some sort of air demon, and then it turns into a giant electrical man in somebody's backyard. So I don't know what the deal with that thing is, but it does not look friendly, and it creeps me out. So let me know what you think that thing is. Gets involved in some electrical field there. I don't know. It does not look friendly, though. So, good news is now we get to worry about these things coming into our backyard, so.
See that like stuff.
Apparently,
like that,
just a couple days ago, an
stuff like that with like the AI and stuff like that could be made up. You know what I mean? But that'd be horrible if that stuff we have to deal with. Interdimensional stuff. If it was real, that's interdimensional stuff.
asteroid missed us. So that's, that's good.
For those of you living on the East Coast of the United States, like myself, this is important that you hear. It's important that you go click and watch the video, read the article, and everything else that I'm about to tell you. Listen, there is an anomaly that is swimming or moving up alongside Africa, and it's expected to possibly breach East Coast waters. Now, I don't know what it is. It's huge as fuck. It's a cluster of waves over 80 fucking feet high, spanning 2,000 miles. This is all real. This isn't conspiracy. This isn't bullshit. This isn't fake news. This is factual shit. Please, if you live on the East Coast, click the link in my profile. Go to the articles tab and read it for yourself, or go on Google or your favorite search engine and type in anomaly in ocean in Africa. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay lit.
You need to watch this movie.
You want to come inside because it's warmer in here.
Jules tells the story of Milton, a 79-year-old man living a quiet life in a small Pennsylvania town. One day, a UFO crashes in his backyard and a silent, apple-loving alien emerges. Milton names him Jules and hides him from the world. As two neighbors discover the secret and befriend the alien, the trio forms an unexpected bond. Meanwhile, government agents close in, forcing them to make difficult decisions about friendship, trust, and letting go.
Thanks, because I wasn't sure what you did. You like the apples?
Jules is a sci-fi dramedy that blends themes of aging, loneliness, and unexpected friendship with a gentle touch of surrealism.
A lot of apples?
For the alien that's back in my house.
You mean an illegal alien?
You can watch this movie on Netflix.
An alien from outer space. The ship crashed in my backyard.
This is one of the worst tragedies in the history of this country. But the scary thing is, it never happened. So this is known as the 2006 volleyball incident. And the scary thing about this is that there are millions of people in this world that believe and remember this happening like 9/11 or like Sandy Hook. The thing is, this never happened. So what supposedly happened was, at a volleyball game in Nebraska or South Dakota, there was a high school volleyball game going on, and a gunman entered the facility and opened fire on all of the students inside of this volleyball game and killed between 20 and 26 people. But the thing is, there is no record of this. If you search anywhere on the internet, you will not find anything other than people asking on Reddit or 4chan or all of these different websites, do you guys remember this happening? And people agreeing, yes, I remember it. There is no news article about this. There is not a single story you will find anywhere on the internet confirming this happened. But the even crazier part, there's pictures from the day. No way.
The following footage is absolutely terrifying, and you really need to look closely into the home that they're filming, because there's something or someone in that house with them. The footage comes from a couple of witnesses who were hearing screaming coming from their neighbor's house. They thought maybe he was having a mental breakdown. That was until they recorded this. Take a look at this video, comment below, tell me what you think.
But do you see it in the window? Yo, have you seen the video of the NASA scientist that was arrested in front of Jay's bank? So apparently he has been warning people about what's coming. So, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's not even on our local news. What's going on? Should I be worried?
There you go. Hello.
Y'all, I just found something out that maybe I shouldn't have. There's a problem, a very big problem, in the Philippines government. Let me start this video off by saying that I would never do anything to myself ever. Okay, so this is wild. You know how they had the earthquake at 6.9 earlier, right? So far, 27 people have passed away. And then right after that happened, it started flooding everywhere around Cebu, just 17 kilometers away from where the earthquake was. Now, why is this so crazy? Well, there's a government program started for like billions and billions of dollars, maybe 20 billion, and the people are protesting and just super peed off because this administration, President Marcos, lost 70% of the money. What was the money there for? Flooding, disasters, having help for the people. But what was one of these specific areas it was targeting to fix? Yeah. Here's some more video of the earthquake from a streamer. So the president started this great plan to target certain areas that flood and get just destroyed basically with crazy weather. And 70% of the money was basically back-pocketed. You have no idea about what's gonna happen in the Philippines now because the people were up in arms before. But now, and how did he steal that money, or how did they allegedly steal that money? Ghost projects. They were just sending billions to these random people in these random locations for no reason at all. The irony right here is staggering and devastating. A word to the wise, don't think the US of A is any better.
The recording showed a stretcher in the prep room with a body completely covered in a white sheet. Without warning, the form beneath began to stir, first a faint shift, then a more deliberate movement, as though something was adjusting itself or trying to rise. Sherry and her coworker were nowhere near the room, and it had been securely locked. Frozen in disbelief, they could only watch the eerie footage play out live on the screen. The body was cremated the following day as scheduled, and no further incidents were reported at the facility. Sherry later admitted they still have no explanation, and they rarely discuss the event with others at work. Though it never happened again, that single night served as a chilling reminder. Sometimes even in places meant for the dead, the unexpected can still await.
Have you gone down the satanic ritual abuse rabbit hole? It is so dark. So what I'm referring to specifically are survivors giving survivor testimony on video, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. Like, not like one guy came forward and said this, like there are whole support networks for these people. Like there are psychologists that specialize in satanic SRA victims, satanic ritual abuse. And because you have to like treat them in a whole different way than a regular abuse victim, because the level of depravity and disgusting, like literal torture of children, like literal, so, your episode is so screwed now. But there's one in particular that this guy was on the Alondra Markman podcast, and I wish I could remember his name, and we don't even want to pull it up because it's so dark. And everyone should, watch it for themselves and judge it for themselves in terms of whether you think he's telling the truth or not. But personally, it's like you can look into his life, and this guy, like his whole life is based around him recovering from this essentially story of his childhood and abuse, and it looks pretty looked far more likely that he's telling mostly the truth than entirely lies to me. And what he alleges in this interview that aired like a year ago or so, a little less, on Alondra Markman's podcast, is that he was born into a satanic family, of which there are many around the world, and that he was groomed from an early age to essentially be a Jeffrey Epstein type of character in a global satanic cult that is not all satanic, but the Satanists are a part of this sort of bigger network of crime and everything. And he alleges that he was...
I'm curious how they define themselves, Satanists. Like, what is the definition of a Satanist to them?
My understanding is that some of them, based on what he said, is that some of them are literally worshiping Satan, and some of them are practicing these things in this cult format and structure. And when I tell you what he's alleging, you'll realize that are so like in the same way that like some Jews are really practicing Jewish people, and some Jewish people are And I don't mean to say, I'm not trying to make that connection. I'm just saying that we were just talking about just some people are more practicing of a religion than others, but you might still go to church and you might still, you might identify as Christian, but you're not as Christian as the next guy. But he alleges that he was groomed from an early age, tortured every day as a child. It's like abused every day as a child, to be groomed to have multiple personalities. And then by the time he was like a preteen, he was engaging in child death matches where he would be put in a cage and he would fight to the death with another child in like downtown New York in underground like parties that rich people and businessmen would attend. And then that and it sounds so insane, but when you watch it, it's like hard. And it's not like he's the only one that has claimed this. He's just one that put it all in a particularly, like, lots of people have lots of claims about this kind of shit. And he also claims that then after that, he was being groomed to be an actor and he froze up in his acting interview. And so he got shifted from the acting pathway. Cause these guys, like, there's a fuckload of money in this community, allegedly. As in, it's tied into all of the global sex trafficking networks, because how do you think that global trafficking sort of gets all the handlers and gets all of the sort of like operatives that run it? Is you need people that were abused in order to run these things, because you need to be that kind of broken, like you need to be groomed to be able to run this without breaking it all.
Is this all like tied into like the Franklin scandal?
Similar, yeah. So he claims he met Jeffrey Epstein on 2 occasions. He claims that he was being groomed to essentially be a handler similar to Jeffrey Epstein. And he had a really lucid description that Jeffrey Epstein was an insanely good code switcher, is what made Jeffrey unique, that he could be completely normal businessman, like banker guy right now, and then like literally turn the other way and be an absolute depraved, abusive monster, and then like right back on like the drop of a pin. And that's what made him so unique in this guy's perspective. And he kind of like had his programming, his like trauma did not work correctly. And so rather than going that route, he became a breeder. And he alleges,
meanwhile, at destination, what the fuck are you still doing there?
Yes?
Don't fucking talk to it! Don't fucking talk to it!
Hello?
He's gonna walk right to it, isn't he? This is what people mean when they say white people shit.
What is that?
It's the devil! The devil! Letting you know this is not your house anymore! Ah, it fucking spoke! It spoke!
Who are you?
I've watched that video a dozen times, and I still get fucking goosebumps every goddamn time!
I'm not gonna hurt you.
No! Fuck that! Fuck that house! Get the fuck out!
Leave my lights alone.
Yo, dumbass, sees that shit, and your first thought is, leave my lights alone, please? You watch the sleep paralysis demon stick its head around the corner. Get the fuck, what the fuck are you still doing there?
I think that everyone is going to have to take a hard look at where they want to be at this moment in history, as we're looking at efforts across the country to prevent people from being able to exercise their fundamental rights. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just...
Well, guys, it's that time of year again. The aliens are abducting our marine life once again.
Shark.
As you can see in this video, you have a some sort of orca whale or possibly a shark has been abducted by a metallic spherical object, which is either the Anunnaki, an alien, interdimensional demonic beings, but for some reason they are transporting our marine life to an undisclosed location. So if anybody knows what's happening here, let me know. I'm interested in figuring out what's going on with them. Are they going to eat them? Or are they going to put them in a...
Yeah, I'll pause it right here. I've been talking about the Anunnaki since when I was still in prison. I got a whole library in my storage still of everything about the Sumerian culture, Egyptian culture, Akkadian, Babylonian. I've been talking about them now. Everybody's starting to talk about them. And it makes me feel good because I believe in all that. That's what I believe in, you know. And they all this written stuff. They, you know, we got a few other Anunnaki stuff. I keep pointing that way because I'm mirrored. We got a few Anunnaki stuff, but right now we got this. Might be my thumbnail. I don't know yet. But thank my fiance putting these on for me and for you guys. Give it a little switch up in between the videos of politics. And
all right, guys. Well, I came back and I'm recording this after having done this entire video because such an important thing happened at the very end that invalidates a lot of stuff I was personally speculating about throughout the entire video. So I'm just going to put this right at the front so you guys know what the punchline is, okay? So part of what we were looking at throughout this video is a very, very long post by someone who did a vector mapping analysis, and their, conclusion was that this was an explosion underneath his shirt versus a bullet strike. Okay, and this is just a guy. Now he sounds extremely credible in the post, but listen, like I went through this video kind of before I had seen what I'm going to show you in a second, saying there is one big gaping problem in the theory that it's an explosion under a shirt. I will wait and have you guys look at that and you guys can respond to it yourselves. But when I saw this, okay, I did not know this level of, scrutiny had gone into it. Like they ran it through Grok AI and asked what the video shows as it relates to whether it's an explosion or a 30-06 bullet strike. And Grok says the radial patterns, assuming that's what you meant in this video, show omnidirectional energy spread more consistent with an explosion shockwave than a linear 30-06 bullet trajectory based on forensic imaging analysis. Official reports confirm a sniper bullet to the neck. Raw footage and independent forensics are needed for certainty. So basically you have video that is being analyzed for vectors that you are with energy spread, and the AI is validating what this guy says, which is that this was an explosion, not a bullet. Okay, so at least just so you know, as we go through this video, the punchline is going to be that there's a lot more to his theory. He says there's no bullet. Like that's the actual one of the purposes of his entire analysis was he's like there's no bullet. Like I did this. Like I can capture energy spread with the tools that I have. There's no bullet. So I will let you guys see all of that and more because we got other stuff to go over because we also got the full breakdown of what the official story from TPUSA is of why there was no exit wound, and it's interesting. So I apologize, it's a long intro, but I just wanted to make sure that you didn't go through 25 minutes listening to me completely try to invalidate this theory if like this changes things in a big way. So I wanted you guys to have that information going in. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. Lots to talk about, okay? So we have
let me cut him off. That is what it seems like. It's the honest truth. Like, and you've seen that guy on the video I uploaded yesterday. He set off the detonator and then they ran over and they picked something up. He gave it to the other guy to put in his pocket. He ran off. Either you're saving him or you're running away. Why did you go to him, grab something, give it to the other guy? Like evidence. You know what I mean? So I kind of believe that story more.
A bunch of information coming out that I will go through in a second, but a lot of it actually has to do with the remote detonation like theory or whatever, because there's a guy who does this huge report, which I'll show you in a second, that supports that. But I am going to tell you in this video that there is a major flaw in the Israeli remote bomb theory that basically when I thought about it and really like put it in my brain, I think it invalidates the entire thing. Okay, I think, right? So I'll throw it out to you guys exactly what I'm talking about and where I pulled it from, and then you guys can tell me what you guys think. We're going to talk about the autopsy. The report that there was no autopsy contradicted by a report that came out afterward.
It is just getting weirder.
So was there or wasn't there an autopsy? I don't. It cut off, but Grok AI analyzed it, and those things are pretty damn smart, and somewhat smarter than us soon, because they got the whole internet knowledge combined into their intellect, and that's what they said it was, more than a bullet, you know. So, you know, I don't know. We'll leave it up to you to decide, but put your comments below too, you know.
Because a video has just come out and it's been going viral where Dan Flood, the head of Turning Point Security, he is almost at every single Turning Point event that Charlie was at as his main bodyguard, and he's been there almost since the very beginning. But in this video on that fateful day, right before the shot rang out, he taps his glasses, like, and you almost see like a little tiny like light up on the glasses. And so if you didn't really know about meta glasses or recording glasses, you may be, oh, he's just maybe adjusting them or whatever. No. If you look at the glasses themselves, if you zoom in, these glasses are quite literally the exact same recording glasses. Why would he have cameras in his sunglasses? Why would he have a camera in his sunglasses to begin with when there's cameras everywhere all around, right? It's a great question, because he seemingly turns it on the moment that Charlie gets hit and then runs in, and it's almost like he recorded the event from his perspective, right? And it makes eerie sense, because they also, as soon as this happens and they pull Charlie away, they start taking all the cameras down as well. And now they are renovating the entire area with cement blocks and changing everything, the entire crime scene at that college. Why?
Yeah.
What don't they want us to see? Or have we already seen the thing they don't want us to see?
There you go.
Shit's getting weird.
Pardon me.
So just so all this is abundantly clear, this police officer is upset with me because I opened the door in 90-degree heat to give a dog water that was locked in the car.
That's fine, you're being videoed as well. So what right do you think you have to open someone's door?
I already told you, I don't think that I have a right, but all I said was that if there's a dog and on a 90-degree day locked in the car panting, I'm gonna give it water.
You have no right to do that.
Okay, you've already told me that.
I don't understand what you don't understand about this.
No, I already said I don't have a right, but you just want to keep arguing with me about it.
I do, because I have a lot of education in this.
I completely understand, yeah. But when it comes to treating animals humanely, I feel very passionate about that as well. So like I said, I guess it's a crime I'm willing to commit.
So let me get this straight. You can smash my car window if I decide I don't want to give you my ID. Or you can smash it to get something done. But open a car door to give a dog some water? And God forbid, smash a window to save a baby inside of a hot car? I'm in trouble? Huh? All right.
We all order stuff from major distributors and have it delivered to our home. Walmart is no different. They deliver stuff to your house. And like every other delivery courier, they take a photo of the stuff that they drop at your front door. Here's where the problem occurred. A family ordered some items from Walmart, and they didn't have a visible address on their door for the individual that was delivering to take a photo of with the stuff delivered. So what did he do next? He took out a magic marker, wrote the home address on the siding, and then proceeded to take the photo. You heard what I said. He took a magic marker out of his pocket and wrote the address of the home to take the photo of the items delivered. The only problem is the magic marker was permanent and he ruined the siding. If you haven't seen the video, take a look at this.
We just got our groceries delivered from Walmart.
Look at that.
And the driver wrote our street address
on our house.
Unreal.
Because he said he needed to take a photo of the groceries being delivered with the house number in it.
Now, he has claimed to have contacted Walmart with the grocery delivery issue that he had, where they actually wrote his address on his siding with permanent marker. He's had so much trouble trying to get it off that he's turned to the internet for some kind of help. So I guess my question to you is, have you ever had this issue, where if the address is not present where they deliver groceries or any other packages, have they wrote on your home? So I guess my question to you is, who do you think is responsible for fixing or paying for that? Is it Walmart itself, or is it going to be the delivery driver? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear.
Here are some things I learned today about animals. It is possible for cats to survive a jump off the Burj Khalifa because their terminal velocity is just 60 miles per hour. Sloths only poop once a week, usually losing around 1/3 of their entire body weight in that one poop. They also come down from the trees to dig a hole into the ground, and scientists still don't really know why they risk their lives to do this because they're slow. Just in case you didn't know. Minnesota has lost over 50% of its moose population since the mid-2000s because of a brain worm that's spreading. The Today Show had a chimpanzee mascot named J. Fred Muggs, and he's still alive right now at 73 years old. Scientists believe that native South American monkeys likely arrived from Africa around 30 million years ago. They would have done this by floating on river islands that flowed into the Atlantic Ocean, eventually reaching South America thanks to the ocean currents pushing them. This is apparently a process that was similar to how lemurs ended up in Madagascar.
So I went down the Erica Kirk rabbit hole, and let me just say, if any of this is true, then this is insane. Let me start off by saying that this is all allegedly. So a lot of people have been raising questions about Erica Kirk ever since the memorial, and then the one video she put out addressing the nation about Charlie Kirk, and then the picture she posted with him in the casket caused people to do a bunch of digging about her. Just seemed very disingenuous. So apparently she used to run an orphanage in Romania, and it was a Christian orphanage, and allegedly a lot of kids went missing. A lot of kids who came into that orphanage went missing. With her ties to you-know-who, his ties to you-know-who, a lot of people are speculating that those kids were trafficked. Because you know she won Miss Arizona in 2012, which was co-owned by Donald Trump. I remember Erica Kirk and Donald Trump, they have history. They've been knowing each other. But here's another thing. She is allegedly banned from Romania. He was kicked out of Romania. Orphanage closed down. And among that, a lot of people are speculating that the one video was AI or it was a reptilian and it wasn't really her and she was in on it. And there's allegedly TikTok, allegedly. This rabbit hole goes really deep when you start to look. All I'm saying is that there's a lot of things that look fishy, okay? And these are the things that are being put out there. And so I do think it is strange. A lot of people were saying that she was bro's handler, allegedly, and he knew something. She was there to watch him and she knew something and she had to pull the plug or tell people about, you know what I mean? This is all alleged. TikTok, this is alleged. This is people's conspiracy. I'm not saying any of this is true. This is all allegedly for entertainment purposes only. If none of this is true, let her grieve in peace. Maybe this is just her coping mechanism. Maybe this is just the way she grieves. But a lot of people on the internet are raising questions about her. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god, I got it on camera, I got it on camera.
There you go. You gotta watch the whole video to see these. They come up.
In 1978, 16-year-old Bridget Geiger was waiting outside her home in Ohio for a boy named Jeffrey to take her to prom. She wasn't particularly excited to go to prom with Jeffrey. He was known to be really nervous around girls, and so she figured it was going to be a pretty awkward date, but nobody else had asked her to go, and she really wanted to go to prom, so she said yes. When Jeffrey showed up, she was immediately disappointed. He was wearing this odd ensemble of vest and bow tie, as opposed to the standard tuxedo that she was anticipating him wearing. And so now they weren't going to match. He was also so nervous that he was visibly shaking and couldn't pin her corsage to her dress. And so Bridget's mom had to come out and put the corsage on. After the corsage was on, Bridget's mom would take a couple of very awkward photos of them kind of stiffly standing in front of her house before they ultimately got in Jeff's car and headed for the prom. When they arrived, Bridget wanted to go on the dance floor to see her other friends to kind of lighten the mood because she was not having a good time with Jeffrey so far. But she did stay with him, and it was clear that Jeffrey hated being at the prom. He hated being around this swarming group of teenagers. Bridget felt kind of bad and said, "Hey Jeffrey, do you want to go sit down and just grab a bite to eat over at the little food cart they have here?" Jeffrey's very relieved and says, "Yes, I'd love to do that." And the pair leave the dance floor and walk over to the little food court area. As they're about to sit down, Jeffrey pulls the chair out for Bridget. She sits down, he kind of pushes her in like a gentleman, but then instead of sitting down with her, he just walks.
Before continuing, I wanted to warn you guys, their phones were being spied on. Click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately.
Away without telling her where he's going. Bridget assumed he was just going to the bathroom, but after a really long amount of time had passed, and it was clear he had not just gone to the bathroom, she got up to go look for him. And so she went on the dance floor, she can't find him in the building, and so she goes outside to see if maybe his car's not there anymore. Maybe he just left. And she sees his car, it's still in the lot. When she turns around to go back into the prom, she sees Jeffrey sitting on a curb just eating McDonald's cheeseburgers. And she goes over to him and she's like, "What are you doing out here?" And so he told her that he just wanted to step outside and get a couple cheeseburgers and then come back and he would sit with her while she ate, but they wouldn't let him back in. And so he just went and got more cheeseburgers and thought he would wait here until she came outside. And now that she was outside, she couldn't get back in either. So she just says, "Hey, I'd like to just go home." And so Jeffrey is mortified and he tells her, "I'm so sorry. I wanted this to be a nice evening for you. I'm sorry it wasn't." He drives her home. He says goodbye. She walks into her house. He drives off, and that was that. Bridget only saw Jeffrey one more time after that. It was about a week after prom, and Jeffrey actually invited her to come over his house for what he was calling a house party. And Bridget's like, "There's no way this kid's throwing a house party. He can barely stand to be around just me, let alone a crowd of people." But she was polite and said, "Sure, I'd love to come to your house party." She gets there and there's no food, there's no music, there's like 3 people there. And as soon as she walks in, all Jeffrey wanted to do was have a seance and communicate with the devil. She was so immediately creeped out by Jeffrey's behavior that after only a couple of minutes, she just turned around and left his house party and did not see him again. Well, until 13 years later when she would read about him in the newspaper.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond.
Dude, me too. So what's the problem?
The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore.
Oh. Well, what happened to it?
We used to, but we destroyed that technology.
Well, why don't you just build it back again?
And it's a painful process to build it back again.
When you said that just now, did it sound stupid to you? Kind of.
All right, so let me get this straight. The reason we haven't been back to the moon since 1969 is because we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it again?
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
So in 50 years, we've gone from the rotary phone to the smartphone that can film in beautiful 4K. We can stream movies while ordering tacos in 10 seconds, but rebuilding a 1960s rocket is just too hard?
Right, we've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up.
Back then we had computers the size of refrigerators that had less processing power than a modern toaster. And today we have 3D printing advanced robotics. But yeah, let's act like the blueprints for the Saturn V rocket were just drawn on a napkin and thrown in the trash. NASA's budget is $25 billion a year, so where is all that money going? What do you think? Does it sound like we won't, or we...
There you go. So you gotta just keep watching. Nice long one too. Got my fiance to thanks. You said
The current version of history that we've been told is not only incomplete, it's just wrong. It's just flat out wrong. Whether they were big civilizations in Illinois 10,000 years ago, which there were, by the way. How can we not know that? We sent a man to the moon, and you can't replicate the technology that created. You don't even have a good guess as to how they were built? We don't. We don't even know when they were built. But why would anyone care? For suggesting that our historical timelines were wrong, and there had in fact been advanced civilizations in earlier moments in time, and that they had been eliminated somehow through climactic events, through natural disasters, and that we're not aware of that in any detail. Kind of seems to be true. Well, why don't we know that? And what does it tell us about ourselves and about the past that we don't know? That's what I would think people would ask. But I know that what I learned as a kid is wrong. What do we know about ancient civilizations? And the answer is like basically nothing.
Did you read about Tartaria?
Jolly West?
Jolly West.
Worked for the CIA under MK Ultra and led Sub-Project 43, a psychophysiological studies of hypnosis and suggestibility. Also involved in MK Ultra LSD research, including the infamous Tusco the Elephant experiment. But this dude apparently loved but also loved studying the human psyche. He would test it on people unbeknownst to them, like just find random people and test LSD on them.
What a cool dude.
So in 1962, Jolly West injected a 7,000-pound elephant named Tusco with 297 milligrams of LSD at the Oklahoma City Zoo.
Because he was bored?
The elephant.
Just to see what would happen?
And he also worked in the Hyatt Ashbury Free Clinic. It was a clinic where basically troubled people or insane people would go, like a mental clinic.
Yeah.
Not only did Jolly study LSD and all that stuff, but he also was super heavy into studying like the occult and different types of cult. Guess who went through this clinic? Charles Manson.
Yeah.
So the theory is that Jolly recruited Charles Manson in MK Ultra and was testing him, and that's what led to.
When you look up in a law dictionary, look up the word. People say, "Well, they can't do this to me. I'm a human being." You know what a human being means in law?
What does a human being mean in law?
Read it.
Sea monster. Monster, a human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal.
That's right. So if you're a human being by law, you're an animal. You cannot own property because you are a monster. You are a human being. And that's why, according to British law, when you're talking about a man or woman which are sovereign, the word in law in England is you say he is a man on the land or a woman on the land. If you're sovereign, if you're important in England, you are referred to as a man or a woman. And if you have offspring, they are called children. So a man and a woman is the term given to people who are of importance, who are royalty, who are sovereigns. But if you're not, if you are just a poor working class, then you are referred to as male or female, not man or woman. You're not a man. You're a human being. Therefore, you are a male or female. And look it up in the dictionary. Male and female are terms that are used around the world for animals. An animal is a male or female. It's not a man. It's an animal. So that's why on your driver's license, on your ID, it's male or female, because you are considered by law to be an animal. They own you. You need to wake up and understand that the reason why Americans know they don't have any power to do anything. I mean, we can elect our presidents, but you can't select your president. You can only elect the thugs that they give you. So the corporation called United States Corporation, once a year, since it's now a public, it's now dealing with the public since 1871, corporate law says that they have to have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. It also also the corporate law says that if you're dealing with the public, which is now a public corporation, that once a year you have to have a stockholders meeting. And so if you can't be there because you're a stock. I mean, if you get married and you're marrying a wealthy girl, we say, well, she's a good stock. What are you doing, marrying a cow? No, that's a term that we use. He's a good stock, meaning that you are an animal, but you're a little bit higher class animal. You're still an animal. You need to understand how words work, how government works, how society operates. It's an extraordinary story of betrayal. Betrayal. The people of America have not been told. They have been lied to and deceived, and that's why they're losing their homes, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their country, they're losing their freedom, and now they're just losing their minds. Why? Because the people realize they have no power, because knowledge is power, and unless you understand how this thing we call America really works, then you're going nowhere. And I'm telling you, nothing works the way you think it does. Nothing.
The truth is hidden in plain sight, and this is how they hide everything. If you are looking for the knowledge that has been hidden from us, if you want to know the meaning behind these symbols, if you want to know who controls the world, this ebook will literally unveil that to you, and ye shall know the truth, and truth shall set you free.
If you've not been able to hear about this yet, you absolutely need to, because CERN is about to fire up this machine during the solar eclipse to look for invisible matter. So CERN is about to officially test the world's most powerful particle accelerator during the April solar eclipse to search for invisible matter that secretly powers our universe. Hello everyone at CERN, let's not do this. So the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator is set to smash protons together on April the 8th to search for invisible particles secretly powering our universe. So theories have suggested that there are 17 different particle groups, and CERN confirmed the existence of one of them using the machine back in 2012. So now the team has officially restarted that machine with hopes of unraveling more mysteries of the universe, specifically dark matter. This sounds like a brilliant idea. Scientists began tests by sending billions of protons around the machine's ring of superconducting magnets to boost their energy and ensure the $4 billion machine was in working condition. And now during the solar eclipse, CERN is going to shoot them down a 17-mile long tunnel at nearly the speed of light to recreate conditions a second after the Big Bang. I know you're not going to want to forget about this.
Let's talk about a strange pattern in the industry. Two of the most talented men in music, Chris Brown and Tory Lanez, both of them had one thing in common. They refused to give full control of their careers to the machine, specifically companies tied to Roc Nation. Chris Brown, a once-in-a-generation talent, allegedly they tried to lure him in by pushing Rihanna closer, and when he didn't sign, that situation became a weapon. And the media replayed it, of course, over and over, trying to destroy him, but somehow Chris rose above it all. Now look at Tory Lanez. He figured out how to stay independent, how to own his masters, and was even planning to teach others. And then suddenly, he's tied to Megan Thee Stallion, another Roc Nation artist, and the next thing you know, his entire career is derailed and he's behind bars. Something ain't adding up.
You gotta understand it. I just sold the equivalent units at $1. Sold 1 million copies flat, my nigga. That's platinum, and I sold 1 million copies, and I made $1 million in less than a fucking minute, my nigga. Y'all try to hold me back, you can't fucking stop me, my nigga. You can't stop me, bro. I want all my fans to understand I'm not even excited for me. I'm excited for y'all niggas, bro. Y'all about to resell this shit and make so much fucking bread. All you niggas who bought 1,000, bought 40 of them shits, y'all about to make... Yo,
and here's the kicker. People say that Jay-Z is doing these things because he loves to protect women. But how does that line up when he was allegedly tied to Beyonce at a young age, or linked to Foxy Brown or even Aaliyah? But that's a whole nother video.
I think Jay-Z's a bad man. I want to see him go down, because I think him and Beyonce done some horrible shit to people and ruined a lot of lives. And I don't know everything about the Tory Lanez music and stuff like that, but what he did was very, very smart, and that allowed the people who bought it to resell it, and and he still gets money from the resale. Like he had a great plan, and that's how he stays independent. That was a great plan. All the money was his, and then this Megan Thee Stallion saying she got shot in the foot. You know, I personally think that was a setup, you know, but well, that's just me. Let me know what you think down below, you know. But Jay-Z's a bad man. He's gonna go down, you know.
Alright, let's talk about it. This video went super viral with thousands and thousands of people asking, what exactly is this? Being the strange, morbidly curious person I am, I decided to look into it. You can find that device as well as countless other interesting items at the Lara Museum in Ronda, Spain. The museum is the private collection of Juan Antonio Jury. I took the 3D tour of the historical building and it is filled with dozens and dozens of antique watches, clocks, cameras, bullfighting paraphernalia, and much more. The cellar, which is by far the most interesting in my opinion, is known as the Living Inquisition. Down in the cellar showcases things from the Spanish Inquisition as well as witchcraft. They also have a slew of other torture devices, the rack, the iron chair, and the Judas cradle to name a few. That is also where you will find what is called the consolation machine. A deep dive into who created this machine, what was it for, and when was it built turns up nothing. I managed to find a few pictures of the paper that is located on the machine in the video, and it reads as follows. The sex for Christianity is the most shameful act a human being can show. For this reason, it was thought to regulate it in a serious way. It was fixed some days of prohibition and other days were authorized by only a procreation purpose. People who didn't obey these rules went to the hell. For witches were impossible to obey these rules the church imposed. My takeaway from that is that it was used against women or witches to punish them for indulging in such lewd acts. Still, so many questions. Let me know what you think down in the comments.
Chad, is this real?
I think it's obvious what it was doing to the women. It's obvious. I don't think that was a torture device either. I think they were kind of enjoying it. I don't know. Comments below if you agree with me.
Yes, it is in fact real. U.S. European Command Headquarters in Stuttgart issued a community-wide alert to all of European commands stating that they need to elevate their force protection measures to Charlie until further notice. Now, if you look above me, there is a little chart ski just for all of you out there who don't know what force protection measures represent. Normal, green, no known enemy or threat. Alpha, possible threat of terrorist activity. Bravo, increased and predictable threat of terrorism. Charlie, imminent threat of terrorism. Delta, localized specific terrorist threat or attack. The Charlie level usually gets applied when some sort of an incident occurs or there's intelligence reports that are being received that indicate there could be some sort of actions being taken against personnel or facilities and that it's likely that this could happen. That doesn't mean that there's any need to be alarmed. It's just a standard procedure if there's been intelligence threats towards personnel. I'll be paying attention to see what happens.
Diddy's former chef writes in a letter for sentencing against Diddy. This is part 3 and the final part of her full letter against Diddy, so let's jump right back into it. After the 2016 brutal beating of Cassie video was released, I realized that our collective silence only emboldened Sean Combs. He didn't get help, he didn't stop, he just got worse. Fact of the matter is, Sean Combs is an abusive maniac. He doesn't just physically, mentally, and financially abuse and exploit his girlfriends. He does it to his staff as well. He spent decades abusing almost everyone around him unchecked. So many of us have wanted to create our dream careers, and Sean Combs had us living in a nightmare. Reliving all of this has been extremely traumatic. Seeing him essentially get off of the most serious offenses is terrifying. This was a miscarriage of justice in my opinion. For him to say now upon his release he wants to become a DB counselor is truly sick. Him and his legal team should be ashamed of themselves. This is a PR media tour his legal team is taking, and it just further proves how much Sean Combs believes himself to be above the law. And he has no remorse for the harm that he has caused to any of us. Cassie said he R-worded her, Mia said he R-worded her. I believe that he is a serial R-worder. We were both supposed to testify, but were ultimately removed at the last minute. Sean Combs likes to weaponize fatherhood, his children, and Kim Porter, when in reality, something. Where were his kids when he was being a menace to society all of these years? Sean Combs is a billionaire, not a street-level pimp. He used those substances to coerce women into becoming his own personal slaves. He used those recordings of those physical encounters to hold over their heads to keep them in check. He used his staff to get illegal substances to facilitate and cover up crimes. He kidnapped Capricorn Clark with a weapon. He was going to unalive Kid Cudi. These things really happened. It's sick how it's all been minimized. Nothing about what any of us endured was normal. The RICO was there the whole time. Sean Combs got away with it. And instead of being satisfied that he essentially got off, he chooses to let his ego keep driving him. Instead of being thankful, him and his team have decided to make a mockery out of all of his victims and the judicial system. It is for these reasons that I believe Sean Combs should get the maximum sentence available. I don't believe he can ever be rehabilitated. He is the master manipulator. I don't think that he should be allowed to live in New York City, New Jersey, LA, or Miami. He should have to relocate to the middle of nowhere, far away from the places that he preyed on and harmed so many people. Not only do I fear for my safety, I fear for all the witnesses that participated in this case. I know Sean Combs to be very dangerous and a spiteful man with a long memory and a panache for payback. Thank you for your time and consideration, Chef Jordan. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Recent reports of upwards of 80 children suddenly missing in the Virginia area with these suspicious ice cream trucks driving residential streets at night. Multiple residents were filming and complaining of these ice cream trucks. This one was parked outside of a woman's home at night. There are reports left and right in Virginia and upwards of 80 children suddenly missing. Let's talk. And let's talk about the absolutely jaw-dropping coincidence.
Let me interrupt. I'm sorry for that. But why haven't these people, these family members, the men, hold a weapon and just run right up to these trucks when they see them, and then you get to the bottom of it right then and there. Just run right up to them, and just if you can see if they got something, jump in there. They got ice cream for sale. Find out what they are saying. Why you out this late? Blah, blah blah blah. Me, I would do stuff. I would hurt stuff, because I can't say stuff on this channel, but they should approach these people, I think, aggressively, or assertively. I think I'm only allowed to say.
What I like to call a God wink or confirmation that Auntie actually had the other night. Yet only until just today would I realize what a strange thing that occurred at my house could be confirmation from Yah about this. Oh, but TikTok, you know me, this is purely for entertainment purposes only. All things stated here, just speculation, just having a little bit of fun, new boot goofing. Let's go. Okay, now this is weird. As you guys know, I haven't really been on TikTok very much, but I just opened the app and I found out that there are, I believe, 80 children missing in Virginia. And there are some extremely sus ice cream trucks driving by people's house at night. Now this is weird. I live in a very remote area. On the street that I live, it's a cul-de-sac, and there are only 4 homes. We all have a lot of acreage, and there are no children here. Me and Uncle Mike ourselves have almost 3 acres. We never, we live in a very small town. I didn't even know we had an ice cream truck. In fact, I'm going to need to look into that because I don't think we do. I was out here drawing one night, and I'm going through my Ring camera. I will find it. Molly was out here like she is often with me, and the door from the garage to outside, I had it open. I was standing up working on my art when suddenly something alerted her. I walked around the side of it when I heard, oh, drum roll please, an ice cream truck. No, I'm here to tell you, I don't even think, like I said, we even have an ice cream truck where we live. But you will never catch an ice cream truck where I specifically live. We are on the outskirts of town, not a busy street. But it was hands down. I even looked at Molly. I said, that's weird. An ice cream truck? And it was late. I'm going to find that video because I know our Vivint security had to have picked it up. It sounded like it drove down right by my house, right by my shop. What are the absolute odds of that? That, my friends, is what I like to call a God wink. Confirmation of any kind of a suspicion. What most people call a coincidence, I call a direct message from Yah. That was weird. And trust me, I'm going to find that Vivint security system. The footage, I'm going to. Problem with isolating and being out here a lot, every night seems to roll together, but an ice cream truck. And now almost 80 children are missing in Virginia with ice cream trucks driving all around the streets, the residential streets at night. I see what you did there, Yah. I see what you did.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Come on, look at that.
Breaking space news, NASA just had a press conference and they said this.
Did we get this right? Do we think this is signs of ancient life on Mars? And after a year of review, they've come back and they said, listen, we can't find another explanation. So this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars.
This image was taken by the Perseverance rover on Mars and released by NASA last year, and this rock is now the best evidence we've ever had for ancient life on Mars. This is the area where the rover is on Mars, and it very obviously had running water in the past. And the rover took a sample of this rock and found that it contains organic compounds. If you zoom in, you can see these white polka dots surrounded by black rings. These contain iron and phosphate. We've never seen this on Mars, but we have seen this on Earth when there's a fossilized record of microbes living in the subsurface. The spots on the rock could have been left behind by microbial life if it had used the raw ingredients, the organic carbon, the sulfur, and the phosphorus that we see on the rock as an energy source. There are ways to produce these spots without biological reactions, things like sustained high temperatures, acidic conditions, and binding organic compounds, but there's no evidence of any of that happening here. This is what this area looked like. So this specific rock in an ancient river valley has organic matter and crystallized magma right here, and an energy source for microbes. So it's becoming not only possible, but increasingly likely that this is the first evidence of ancient microbial life on Mars.
On the morning of August 26, 2015, WDBJ reporter 24-year-old Allison Parker and her cameraman 27-year-old Adam Ward visited the Bridgewater Plaza near Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. Their goal was to do a live interview with the executive director of the local Chamber of Commerce, Vicki Gardner, about an upcoming event at the lake. Things went just as planned initially, with Adam setting up the camera equipment and Allison starting the interview at 6:45 a.m. What none of them knew, however, was that they were about to become the victims of a crazed stalker. Just seconds into the interview, an armed man walked up to the group and opened fire. The live feed cut back to the in-studio reporter, who was just as shocked at what happened as the many viewers watching live.
Okay, not sure what happened there. We will, of course, let you know as soon as we find out what those sounds were from.
Tragically, by the time first responders arrived, both Allison and Adam had already succumbed to their injuries and passed away. Vicki was badly hurt as well, but she managed to play dead and ultimately survive the encounter despite getting shot in the back. As for the perpetrator, he had already fled the scene by this point, and with no nearby CCTV capturing a clear image of his face or vehicle, investigators were left at a dead end. But then, someone at the WDBJ network analyzed the footage further, which revealed one blurry but still recognizable frame of the person responsible for this tragedy. This was 41-year-old Vester Lee Flanagan, a former WDBJ reporter who went by the professional name of Bryce Williams. He'd actually worked with both Allison and Adam in the past, but was fired from his job after higher-ups received several reports of workplace aggression. However, what seemed like a disgruntled ex-employee lashing out at his former colleagues at first turned out to have a far darker backstory to it. You see, Vester had an extensive history of being difficult to work with, long before he joined WDBJ. He was fired from one of his early reporting jobs from NBC affiliate WTWC in the year 2000 for, quote, odd behavior towards his coworkers. While the exact reason for his termination was never revealed to the public, from what I was able to find, it had something to do with him being aggressive and trying to intimidate others. But instead of admitting fault, he filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against his employer, which eventually ended with an out-of-court settlement. However, that was only the beginning. From there, he found work at multiple other stations, but struggled to build a career at one place, largely due to the many altercations he got into with his colleagues. He had severe anger management issues and would often resort to physically confronting his coworkers over even the smallest disagreements.
He had increasing conflicts with people at the station, especially the floor crew, some of the other reporters, some of the photographers in the field, to the point where he was threatening people, had some physical confrontations with a couple of people, and at one point became such a distraction that we finally had to terminate him.
He eventually secured a position at WDBJ in March of 2012, and it was the same story once again. It didn't take long for him to fall into the same pattern of anger and bullying there as well. Just months into his employment, the WDBJ management had already received multiple reports of his coworkers feeling threatened or uncomfortable working with him. In fact, his behavior at WDBJ was worse than at any of his previous jobs, leading to his termination in January 2013, less than a year after he started. He even had to be escorted out by police when he refused to accept this termination and threatened his superiors with violence. Vester once again tried to play the racial discrimination card and singled out Allison and Adam for the alleged racist behavior. However, a third-party investigation didn't find any evidence of discrimination, and his case was thrown out. He likely named them because he knew they were among the coworkers who had filed complaints against him.
These bitches lost all something, oh, and I know that. Fucking with them.
12 billionaires have died in just the last 2 months, but the mainstream media didn't tell you that, did they? Allow me to catch you up. This is Daniel Abraham, the founder of SwimFast, with an estimated net worth of $2.4 billion. In his lifetime, he faced numerous allegations of sexual harassment. He died June 29th at age 100. Next, we have Andrei Badalov. He was a Russian oil executive and billionaire who died July 4th after falling 17 floors from the window of his Moscow apartment. It's been ruled a suicide, but the circumstances are suspicious. This is James Loprino, head of Loprino Foods, the largest mozzarella cheese producer in the U.S. He was worth $2.1 billion and died June 19th at age 87. This is James Musingusi, a billionaire hotel and agricultural tycoon from Uganda who was accused of withholding worker pay and misuse of funds. He died August 6th. This is Mary Malone, a major shareholder of Campbell Soup, worth an estimated $4 billion. She died June 16th at age 75. Sunjay Kapoor, an Indian auto parts billionaire who died after swallowing a bee during a polo match. Frederick Smith, the founder of FedEx and worth about $5 billion. Died June 20th.
So I'm guessing the cartel didn't get the memo. So basically the cartel is saying that the U.S. military ain't as bad as they think, and they better think twice before they mess with them. And they want every bit of the smoke that the United States military think they could bring. So the Department of Homeland Security reported that the cartel said they are ready for anything that the United States military is willing to bring. They're not scared. And I don't know where they're getting this confidence from, but apparently they don't know the United States military has been waiting for this day forever. The United States military has surveillance. They've been watching, and they've just been waiting for this time to come. You have to understand, all of the special forces, all of the different teams, all of the high-tech machinery. This might not be a good fight to fight for the cartel, if you understand what I'm saying. United States military, of course, is one of the most feared and respected militaries in the world. They're not gonna go away that easy. I'm out.
Just read about a new malware campaign that's going on right now that once you're infected detects some adult content open in browsers, takes screenshots, takes pictures of your webcam, and then extorts you to not release all that really embarrassing stuff. Literally got like corn detection built into the code. The crazy part is that this threat actor group that's running this campaign is basing it off of this open source on GitHub info stealer malware that's for educational purposes only. Delivering it via email campaigns. I'll show some examples, and they all have attachments. Either it's like JavaScript or VB script, compressed archives like RARs or other executables, and a lot of like lures that you've seen before. Payments due, court summons. There's one they were impersonating a Canadian charity, or one that they said was pretty successful targeting the hospitality sector. Tour booking requests with attachments that were archives here. A very common one they saw was a Xerox scan theme. Please see the attached proof of payment. Guess what? It's a PDF, fake PDF RAR file. Or court orders, right? Find the attached case filed against you. You're required to appear in court with the attached lawsuit. Once you download it, key logging, banking, credit card information, browsers and cookies. The weird part that this research shows is that a lot of info stealers are targeting very specific things, like your crypto wallets or your cookies for a specific thing. It looks like this malware is just going for everything, and obviously extorting for embarrassing NSFW stuff. And they get these embarrassing screenshots and stuff, or the cookies or crypto wallet information off of your computer by emailing themselves, by standing up like an email server on your computer, or they'll upload it to a file sharing service, or I've even seen them using Telegram to get it off of your computer and back to them. Watch out for this one. What do you guys think about this, like using this open source, like info stealer platform that's up there for educational purposes? We've seen versions of this a bunch. Don't open attachments if you don't know where this stuff is coming from, and follow for more cybersecurity.
Have you ever heard of the Anunnaki? These ancient beings from Mesopotamian mythology have been the subject of much fascination and debate in recent years. But what if I told you that some people believe the Anunnaki were real and may have actually played a role in human history? According to this theory, the Anunnaki were a group of extraterrestrial beings who came to Earth thousands of years ago. They were said to be highly advanced, possessing knowledge and technology far beyond anything humans of that time could comprehend. But what did they want with us? Some believe that the Anunnaki were responsible for creating humanity, using genetic engineering to create a hybrid race of humans and their own species. Others believe they simply visited Earth to mine for resources, and may have even taught ancient civilizations like the Sumerians advanced techniques like agriculture and metalworking. While there is no concrete evidence to support the existence of the Anunnaki, their legend has persisted for centuries. Whether they were real or simply a myth, their story continues to captivate and inspire those who seek to understand the mysteries of our past.
Can we please talk about the fact that the Vatican has secret archives that allegedly, TikTok, allegedly, talks about the fallen angels, except they put them under a different name called the Anunnaki, and how they were literally helping the ancient Sumerians create colossal monuments like the pyramids that are all over the world, mind you, not just Egypt, but people don't tell you that, and also let them in on knowledge that they could have never known. If y'all are new to this channel, we have been diving into the Book of Enoch, which apparently all the other Bible books that were in the Bible originally but taken out later on are in the secret archives as well, but that's a whole other topic. I don't claim things to be scripture, but I do find it interesting. Anyway, so basically there are beings called the Anunnaki that apparently created the world. Obviously, God created the world, but what people don't know is the fact that the Book of Enoch actually gets into all the heavenly tea, which again, I do not claim the Book of Enoch as scripture. I read it as lore, but the Bible does confirm that the Nephilim, aka the Rephaim, aka the men of renown, aka the giant, did exist in the days of Noah. And there's a whole thing about, and the proof of it is in the pudding of the Vatican archive. Sorry, y'all. If you hear anything, it's my daughter. Every time I make a video, she always wants to do this every time. People don't know is that before we were even a thought, there was heavenly tea. 200 angels rebelled against God, came down to earth, and procreated with the daughters, therefore creating giants. It even went as far as mixing DNA, called miscegenation, and creating half animal, half man creatures, which is why you see so many half man, half animal gods in the Egyptian mythology. As well as in Greek mythology, you can also see giants, half man, half animal creatures, demigods, gods that procreate with mortal women. Hello. All of this ties back to the fallen angel, because throughout time they were seen as heavenly beings, or gods if you want to call it, and labeled different things as time went on. The whole time they were just some loser angels that lost the battle with God. Imagine? That's embarrassing. But y'all have to understand that these fallen angels brought down heavenly knowledge, so of course people are going to see them as gods because they're introducing things that no one could possibly know here on earth. If y'all want to know what information they gave, I can make another video on that. I have one down below my profile somewhere, but it's pretty old. Anyway, I say all this to say I find it very interesting that there is so much talk about the fact that they have information on the fallen angels hidden in the Vatican archive, because why are you hiding it? I think they're hiding it because allegedly they are still working on recreating giants as weapons of war, and they pay homage to fallen angels all throughout the media and hide it in plain sight. Hint, hint, the Paramount logo. I can get deeper into that tea if y'all want, again, if you'd like, but as always, make sure you like and follow.
If you still think the three-fingered mummies are a hoax after this, there is no saving you. This is easily one of the biggest stories of the year. This is why. There's actually 7 of these mummies, and they were found in southern Peru. The reason why these are so controversial is because they genetically have 3 fingers and 3 toes. There's enough tissue on these things to get very good samples. But in that tissue, like Sebastian here, are implants. His are made from osmium and cadmium. We only discovered those 100 years ago. They have elongated heads. Some have implants. This is really interesting because one specimen, Montserrat, was pregnant. The fetus already has an elongated head, one of 2 feti that we know of these creatures. This completely rules out head binding. You can't do that in the womb. Our fingers have very distinct patterns. Their fingers just have lines, straight lines across them. Posted this video the other day talking about these guys, and apparently I triggered a bunch of people because I said these things were real. I didn't determine this. These guys determined this. David Ruiz is the former president of forensic medicine in Peru. Dr. Jose is the head of forensics for the Mexican Navy. John McDowell is the former president of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. Just won an award for being so good at it. Using this, they sequenced the DNA, then compared it with the known genomes in the U.S. National Library of Medicine. In Maria, 97% of those were identified, 30% matched Homo sapiens. What does that mean? Maria is likely a hybrid organism or a new species. Hoax claims are slowly getting retracted. Here's why.
Well, the only reason you think that these are a hoax is because a journalist, remember the guy who was talking about UFO sightings around the Nazca lines? A guy named Manuel Caceres made wooden figurines that he glued together, dedicated to the Nazca mummies, to sell to tourists. These little trinkets, pieces of touristic art, meant to resemble the real mummies. These were confiscated at the Lima airport in 2023.
This is way bigger than disproving a hoax. Ancient Andean art depicts three-fingered beings all over the place in textiles and even carvings all the way up to Utah. Now, the burials are strange. They're in caves and open-air cemeteries, but the strangest ones by far are the cholpas. They look like grain silos, but they are completely filled, and they use megalithic masonry techniques, the same that we see in ancient Egypt, like in the Osirian. But the link goes deeper. There's strong evidence for elongated heads in Egypt as well as Peru. And even though there's a shared iconography between pretty much every ancient culture, the one between the Peruvians and the Egyptians is very strong. These guys may try and deceive you by pushing a hoax for some reason, but I'm not going to add to that garbage. All of my research has sources cited at the bottom of the page. And Jesse Michaels actually went there and did some phenomenal research. You have to check out this video. It's an hour-and-a-half long. I linked it on my YouTube page if you want to go find that. Or get it straight from the source, tridactyls.org. They have all of the research papers, documents, videos I used in this video. It's all there. So yeah, sticks and stones may break mummy bones, but waka flocka like my video.
Okay, Morty, buckle the fuck up because I'm about to unload some real brain benders on you. You've heard of the Anunnaki, right? No? Well, strap in, because this is going to get fucking weirder than a two-headed Schrodinger's cat. The Anunnaki, according to those tinfoil hat wearers, are like these ancient, super advanced alien beings, supposedly from a mysterious planet in our solar system, Nibiru, or whatever they call it. It's like the cosmic equivalent of some lame-ass secret VIP club, and Earth is just their playground. Now, here's where it gets really kooky, Morty. These Anunnaki guys, they didn't just come to Earth for a vacation. Oh no, they had plans, big plans. The conspiracy nuts believe these aliens genetically engineered humans, to be like their minions. Like, we're supposedly their pet project. A blend of their alien DNA and the local hominids. Why? To mine gold, Morty. Gold. Because apparently in the high-stakes world of intergalactic politics, bling is still king. But wait, it gets better. These ancient astronaut theorists, they think the Anunnaki didn't just stop at playing mad scientist. Oh no, they went full-on celestial fucking soap opera. They influenced ancient civilizations, gave them technology, played God, Morty, and basically set up humanity's entire history like it was some kind of cosmic chess game. And the best part, Morty, there are people out there who actually believe this stuff. They think that everything from the construction of the pyramids to the rise and fall of empires was all part of the Anunnaki's grand plan. It's like the universe's biggest puppet show, and we're just the fucking marionettes. If your mind isn't already blown, get ready for the grand finale. We can't gab about the Anunnaki without diving into the Sumerian text. These ancient tablets are like the OG blog posts of human civilization, written in cuneiform, which is basically the first emoji language. These tablets supposedly spill the cosmic beans about our Anunnaki overlords. Now let's get this straight. The Sumerians, they were no dummies. They kick-started civilization as we know it, writing, math, astronomy, the whole shebang. And in these tablets, they talk about the Anunnaki like they're the A-listers of the galaxy. We're talking about beings who live for tens of thousands of years doing all sorts of godlike shit and basically treating Earth like their personal fucking science lab. But wait, it gets even wackier. There's this thing called the Sumerian Kings List. It's like a who's who of ancient Mesopotamian royalty, but with a twist. This list isn't your typical Ancestry.com family tree. No, sir. It's got kings reigning for absurd lengths of time, like tens of thousands of years. I mean, I've been around, but even I can't hold a candle to a 28,000-year reign. So these conspiracy theorists, they lap this up like it's the last bottle of booze at an intergalactic party. They say this kings list is proof of the Anunnaki's long lifespans and their influence over humanity. Like, these kings were either Anunnaki themselves or hybrids, demigods, the whole ancient astronaut package. Now, the mainstream eggheads, they'll tell you it's all myth, exaggeration, or symbolic, but in the universe where I can turn a black hole into a bouncy castle, who's to say? Maybe these texts are ancient alien blogs, literal history, or just humanity's first attempts at sci-fi. The point is, Morty, history is written by the victors, and sometimes those victors might be from a different planet.
All right, what's the deal with all these videos popping up claiming that allegedly in parts of Georgia and South Carolina, people had their TV broadcasts interrupted for about 3 minutes? This happened just in the last couple of days. And during that time, a message supposedly from the Anunnaki aired, acknowledging the current chaos among humans, warning of severe weather events coming, and then saying that they were going to help. And then, right after that, people in these same areas reported seeing fireballs streaking across the sky, like multiple reports. So yes, this sounds completely crazy, and I am skeptical, but I'm also open-minded enough to ask. There actually was a TV broadcast interruption in southern England in 1977 where a group claimed to be Ashtar Galactic Command, and they talked about human awakening. So I'm being open-minded. Was it something like that? Has anyone seen this alleged Anunnaki broadcast firsthand? Do you have video of it or know someone who does? Drop any links, videos, or stories in the comments. I'm actually very curious.
Me too. Drop a link.
Okay guys, breaking news. There has just been not one, not two, but 3 mass shootings in the United States. I never thought we'd be doing 3 in the same video. The first is at a Mormon church in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Now, we don't know the shooter's identity or motive yet, but they are reportedly down. There are also multiple victims, which do also include children, and the church that it happened at is now on fire and burning down. The second mass shooting happened in North Carolina after a 40-year-old man pulled up to a waterfront bar on a boat and opened fire. He killed 3 people and he injured 8 more, most of which were just people on holiday. The man has been identified as Nigel Edge. He's been charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder, and police say that the attack was highly premeditated. Now, the third, all of which happened within about 14 hours of each other, was at the largest casino in Texas. A man opened fire at a number of people, killing 2, and 5 others had to be airlifted to hospital. The gunman fled the scene, but now police say that they do have someone in custody. Now, according to the Gun Violence Archive, there has now been 320 mass shootings in the US this year alone.
See, now, there's a lot going on in the world. A lot. And, I put these stuff together for you guys to just see the real news, because that stuff on television sets, it's all scripted, it's all fake news. It's all just scripted soap opera fake news. These people, they tell you what really is going on. And I'm going to probably make another one later today, if not tomorrow, about Morg and how he breaks down religion and stuff like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoy making them for you guys because it's your guys' channel. I'm just a talking head. And if you do like, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm so close to meet my next milestone. And I hope you have a good day. And you will see me again. All right? Bye.